political situation. How are you feeling it? How are you really managing it? How are you swimming in it? How are you really understanding it, knowing fully well that 2019 is just around the corner? Who have been twisted? Who have been subjugated? Who have been liberated? Who have been oppressed? People have been talking from all angles. It's our own duty to really analyze the situation so that 2019 will be like a walk in the park for Nigerians. With me here in the studio, I have two legal practitioners. Sitting very close to me is Barrister Dele Igbenedion, a human rights activist, a legal practitioner, both local and international politics. He is well grounded. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate your comment.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Hello, viewers.
And sitting close to him at my extreme left is a legal practitioner. When we talk about national, international politics, he's well grounded. He's a human rights activist. Gentlemen, welcome Barrister Patrick Osagi, PhD, right? Whatever. Welcome.
Thank you, Winston. Good morning, viewers at home.
Okay. Barrister Dele, I believe that you've been observing trends. You've been seeing, reading, observing so many things in our political terrain, and it's all a build-up to 2019. It's like the temple. The crescendo is getting tougher, thicker, getting higher. So many controversial situations just keep emanating. How do you feel about all this?
Well, I'm excited. I think I always wake up every morning, with a good feeling about this country. And as the days go by, my feelings of optimism, get stronger. So we are having a ball at all levels in politics. There's been, shall we use the word rejigging of the political system. Some people are moving from this party to that party. Some are moving from that party to this party. It's throwing up unexpected turns and twists. And that is as it should be. Politics is not meant to be boring. It's because there you have gladiators, you have warriors, you have the best and the brightest, coming in, to seek to be elected into high offices, to be able to run the affairs of this country. So we should expect that there would be all these postulations and grandstanding and all of that. So I'm excited. I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think opportunity for democracy is always to be celebrated. It's always to be celebrated. So generally speaking, I think we're on the right path. The two major parties now have their presidential candidates. I think I understand there are about 69 political parties with presidential candidates. So wonderful, from the not too young to run to the not too old to run, and everything in between. so you have the money bags and those who do not have money. You have the handsome and those who are not handsome. You have the men and then the women. It's a grand potpourri. It's a grand potpourri, and we're happy about it. I'm happy about it. I look at it and I'm like, whoa, this is the day the Lord has made. We should all be glad and rejoice. Because the alternative could have been military authoritarianism, where we have no opportunity to express ourselves. We don't have the opportunity to choose anyone to represent us. And then we just told Major General that is now your new administrator. So, when you balance the two, when you compare the two, I think it's time for everyone to be happy. We should
for everyone to be happy. Okay. He said it's a mixed potpourri and he's so excited. Is the day the Lord has made. We should rejoice and be glad. Patrick, do you feel the same?
Well, some way, somehow, yes, I do. I do, in the sense that from the perspective of people participating, you could see somebody coming up to say, this is what I believe in and this is what I feel should be done. Or as president, I'm going to do this. We could see a lot of issues, thrown up you are not educated, you don't have a certificate, you don't have this, you don't have that, you have failed in the past years. You know, people coming up to express themselves. I think it's a good one. But away from that, we look at it critically. We know very well that there's some unfair balance in the sense that we know we have, as a nation, have some way somehow be streamlined, limited to two major political parties. That is my little worry, in the sense that if we know it's neither a party A or party B that is going to emerge, so we talk about 69 presidential candidates, you know, who ordinarily are eligible to become president. We know from every way of assessment that it's going to fall between that two. This party A, party B. All others are just noise of the markets. That is my little worry. I honestly would have loved a situation where it would have been practiced, or, you know, in a way that all other persons that could have emerged. Like in America, years ago, we know how Barack Obama emerged and he came up. You know, a lot of people said it's not going to work for him, and even in his acceptance speech, he had said that, you know, it's only in this country that this can happen. He appreciated the fact. So I don't need to be one ex-military head of state son. I don't need to be one family of politicians and my big brothers and daddies and mommies have been whatever. Then for me to be a voice in my own country, I think that is where I'm worried, because it's now being streamlined to some characters and persons. So a son of a nobody, Aminu Kano has said, this country will not know peace until the son of a nobody is made somebody without knowing anybody. I think that is where I am worried. It's good that everybody is participating. To what extent? Am I participating as a son, or am I participating as a slave? Am I participating as a villain or a victim? How am I participating? Somebody said, well, go to the party secretariat, go and do the needful there. Am I just there because of the stipends? Because I know when Barrister Dele Igbenedion becomes governor, I will be his PA. So I'm all there. Am I bold enough to tell Barrister Igbenedion that, sir, or before you become governor, sir, look at some issues. Am I bold enough to do that? No. We have said this. These are the issues. If I meet presidential candidate, for instance, like the person of Atiku Abubakar, and sir, you know, you will say, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. That is not what I'm looking for. Somebody will be able to look at him and say, sir, look at the problem the average Nigerian is going through. We are talking of feeding and a lot of issues that professors are talking about, that we feed Nigerian kids with over 2 billion every other. It's funny when education itself is not funded with same amount. So what is more important? Is it the feeding or the education that will sustain our destinies in future? These are the things I personally am worried about. We play down trivia, we play down important things, and, you know, begin to jump around trivial matters, like talking about the certificate of the president. Anyway, let's leave that for now.
Okay.
And then we can.
All right, fine. I'll come back to. He talked about imbalance in what is happening.
Yes.
And he gave an example also of when the son of a nobody, without knowing anybody, will become somebody. And he also talked about also the politics of interests. So could you please take it up from there?
Okay, before I take up that, so that I don't get any sort of I don't get some huge tax charge or some unwanted traffic stops or any of that. Somebody trying to do me bad because they think I'm contesting for governorship, because he mentioned when I want to say it, I am not contesting for governor. So nobody should please look at me with any bad eye. I'm not contesting. The man was just making an example, you know. So because some people can actually take you serious, and before you know it, they start saying, does he have certificate? Are you sure his law degree is correct one? So, you know, I haven't said that on that lighter note. Let's be realistic about it, my brother. There is no country where the son of nobody will become somebody without knowing somebody. In a political environment that is democratic, you have to know people. You have to meet people. You have to sell yourself to people. If people have to believe in you, they have to believe in your ideas, they have to like you, they have to trust you, they have to have confidence in you in order for them to vote for you. So this and I say this respectfully, Barack Obama was not a nobody who didn't know anybody. I mean, we tend to folklorize the Barack Obama thing like somebody who just came from nowhere and just became president. The man was a wheeler dealer, the smart fellow, knows how to approach people, had a great personality, and knew how to sell himself to the people that mattered. Somebody has to believe in you, you know. So I think that is the important thing, and the same thing is happening in our environment. Now, I get the point he's trying to make, that in order for you to succeed, you shouldn't like be tied to one money bag or this or that. I think that is the point. I.e., you should be a person of your own and people will just, you know, elect you. But I don't think we have reached that point, and no country has reached that point. Russia still has, what's his name now as their prime minister? Vladimir Putin.
Putin, President Medvedev, prime minister.
Yes.
Yeah.
And before now, it was the other way around, wasn't it? One was prime minister, one was president. So they swapped. So that's the point. In America, the bloc that determines who becomes president actually assisted Donald Trump to become president. He had to appeal to them. He had to talk to the evangelicals. He had to talk to the conservatives. He had to reach out to the money people. You know, so that's there. In England, it's the same thing. Everywhere, there is no place where... In Canada, the present prime minister, I think his name is the prime minister or President Trudeau. Yeah, I think his father at the time was also a prime minister. So, you know, Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel had been prime minister before. He was one of those who was involved in the Entebbe raid when certain PLO officials years ago, you know, kidnapped, abducted or hijacked a plane full of Israelis and flew it to Entebbe. He was one of those that went there. I think he was there himself or his senior brother or so, and they rescued the people. So they were national heroes. So there is let nobody out there just think, you know what, I'm just going to sleep, you know, like you know, the sleepiest man on earth, and I will wake up one morning and then boom, I'm governor of my state. It's not going to happen like that. There's hard work behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
There's absolute and incredible, you know, willy-dealing, getting people to like you, standing for something that people believe in, that around who they can coagulate. And I think that is what is happening in our country today. Like we said, we have 69 people. Not all of them should expect to win at first ballot. For goodness sake. I mean, you are not Mr. Perfect. You can't just come out and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to become president, and everybody will come lying down and saying, whoa, Messiah has come. You know, blessed is he that comes in the name of the Lord. You know, it doesn't, even Jesus had to, you know, go through thorns and thistles to get to becoming, you know, who he wanted to become. So I mean, everybody should get that point. Life is tough. Politics is tough. You know, getting elected is tough. It's not for the lily-livered or the sissies or the, you know, the faint-hearted. It's for the brave. So you've got to get in there and get the job done, and it can get done. And if you fail now, don't lose hope, because those who are winning now have failed like 20 times before. I've contested many elections. I've won some. I've lost some. I'm excited every day about what is happening. You can't expect that if you offer yourself to people, they are duty-bound to accept you.
All right.
So that's my take.
All right.
On this thing.
All right. Now, from what you said, talked about 69 political parties, but it's like you also said that you're not happy with the fact that it's tending towards just 2 political parties. Is this healthy for Nigerian politics?
Yes, it's obvious that it's not healthy if you look at it in that context of having a whole lot of resources and people coming up. Like he had rightly said, and I believe and support, in consonance with that, that you don't expect to. Why did they even get screened in the first place? I think it would have been a little bit more stiff, and to have, other than having this large number of persons, and most of the time, most of them are not, you even discover that some of them are being sponsored by either of these two political parties to come up and as a sort of a distraction, and at the end of the day they come out to say, well, I have decided to support XYZ, and you wonder, a man who had that kind of agenda that want to be, why not stick to your own idea? And then the people that believed in you ab initio, you now tell them, oh, no, 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 let's not support this man. So it doesn't make meaningful sense to me. I honestly believe that if you want to contest an election, and you, like you have rightly said, I honestly support that. I believe in those aspects of you have to do, work. But what I was trying to make of it is not just your hard work now. There are many hardworking young people. There are many hardworking Nigerians. There are many hardworking and very, very smart people here. But I will tell you, well, we would rather a fool or someone who isn't too okay to be because of certain, reasons. Now, my major concern have not always been who becomes. What is the essence? You have talked about now having them in quantity. What's the quality? What are they bringing to the table? What are they coming with? Are we going to do better than what have already been on ground, or we want to come and make some noise around too? So that is it. It's not just the university education. It's not the qualifications we have. It's not how many degrees I could bag from Harvard University like we have always celebrated here in Nigeria. That's not it. Are you really concerned about your people? Are you like Nelson Mandela, for instance, who was ready to spend or spent 27 years for just what he believed in? So how prepared are we? It's not an easy way home. You must definitely have people who will want to do something. You can wake up and wish to be the president, you wish to be governor, but you have to work. I agree with that. But the point I'm making, having done all the needful, and at the end, we had some, you cannot be, you won't win this primary, somebody else will be winning primaries when you know very well that you ordinarily should be. So these are some of the issues. The transparent situation, when you know definitely, even if I do the needful, I am good, I can stand any debate anywhere in the world and I will be accepted, and the people really want me. Somebody is going to bring up money to buy votes, and at the end of the day, so this zeal is no longer there. These are the issues. So having this person, so most of the time you don't have the re-prepared mind, or those that really want to or that could have, they are discouraged, disillusioned because of the situation on ground. So this in itself is not helping the matters, and is not helping the country, as it were. We have 69, I said 70, including the president, and we have all of them put together. Ask them, how were they screened? I don't even know them. I only know we have 69. I know a few of them. A few of them. So if I don't know, I wonder those in the interior, how will they know them? What have been the antecedents? So it's not just to come up, I want to be president. We should have a proper way of screening these people and knowing, showing to us their track record and what they have done before. Now, you can't become anything when you have no parts, you don't have no track record.
All right.
I think that's how I want to see that one.
Okay. He talked about transparency. What is really leading to the polity being heated up is because of the primaries. Some parties conducted their primaries and many persons were aggrieved. They said, look, if this is democracy, that means Nigeria isn't ready for it. He talked about you being prepared. He talked about you going out to be screened. You come out wonderfully well in debates, but somewhere along the line, you are removed. You are changed with someone else. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think, again, we are growing as a democracy, and I have said earlier that everything about this democracy excites me. It's obviously a matter of concern if somebody who has won a primary, should be shortchanged or his name will be removed. But I think that is a microscopic issue while looking at the larger thing, because it's not just happening in one party or the other party, it's happening across the board. Even among these 69 or so presidential candidates, there are complaints,
pockets of complaints.
Pockets of complaints. So there's no party that has a monopoly of it. Every party has its own sort of internal challenges. And this is not unconnected with the fact that we are still developing our political ethos and our political mores. it's not a walk in the park, as the Americans would say. It's not just. Chairman Mao said a revolution is not a tea party. You know, just sit down, have a cup of tea, and you are done. You know, so what we are doing with democracy is a revolution. We're trying to change not only the way we think, the way we act. And the most difficult thing to change is the mindset of the individual. There are certain people who will feel that if Mr. A is in that position, it will be inimical to my interest, so I've got to do all I can to ensure that Mr. B gets there. But experience has also shown that it's not a given. That the fact that you manipulated Mr. B to get in there instead of Mr. A doesn't necessarily mean that when Mr. B is there, he's going to be 100% loyal to you, if you get my drift. There have been examples where after installing people, the installers can't even visit that state. They have to run far away. So, I mean, we don't have to go. The examples are replete. So that is something that everyone should be careful about. Don't think that because you are assisting somebody, then it's going to be loyal to you. You know, yes, a few people might be, but people now have their own mindset. They have their own reasoning faculty. They've gone to school. They are not illiterates as you expect. So once they get into the position, majority are going to, look back and say, hey, I've got to do what I've got to do. A typical example probably could be Kaduna State, where you have, is it Shehu Sani? Was that Senator?
Shehu Sani, yeah.
Shehu Sani,
Yes.
and then the Governor El Rufai. Or Kogi State, where you had the Governor Yaya Bello and Dilo Melaye. Dilo Melaye was one of those who was like, hey, it's got to be Yaya Bello, it's got to be Yaya Bello. At his inauguration, he spoke, he was given a microphone and he was praising the man and all that. But no sooner had the reading started than, there are daggers drawn now, if we might use that metaphor. So what I'm saying with that is that everybody has to be circumspective. I think that's the proper word. Got to be circumspective. You got to realize that merely manipulating somebody into a position is not a guarantee that the person is going to be loyal to you. So it's a clarion call for more fairness in the system. But then again, our system contemplated this. Our law contemplated that not everybody who is qualified and who is voted for by the people is actually going to be allowed by powers that be to go there. So the Electoral Act provided that anybody who is not satisfied with the conduct of primaries can challenge it in court and ask the court to remedy any perceived grievances. So, and I think many people have taken advantage of that provision in the law. So this is how our system will begin to develop and grow gradually. And as long as we allow it to continue at this pace, if we keep moving in the direction that we are going now, I predict that in the next couple of years we'll have perfected this democracy. We'll be experts at it. Americans and Canadians will come here to learn from Nigeria.
Come here to learn from Nigeria.
Yes, we come here to learn from Nigeria because we are really doing well. Look at one other party. They've done their own presidential nomination candidate thing, and you can see people who were shall we use the word, enemies before coming together, and they are reconciling. So you see that it's nothing personal. So in a way, before now they thought it was personal, but they've realized now by the exigency of the moment that it's not personal. And this is how it actually should be. It's nothing personal, no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, only permanent interest. So this is where I come to the point from which we started, that I'm excited at the leaps and bounds that we are making. I think we are moving in the right direction. And the only thing that I would disagree with my friend is that he said ultimately it will fall between one of two parties which are at the head. I think that's an overgeneralization. There's actually only one party at the head, and it may fall on that. So it's not two
only
or
one
three.
party.
It's not two or three. There's only one.
All right, I needed to react to what he just said. He said we don't have to do just one.
Well, in the words of Joseph Stanley of Germany, he said, those, the electorate, that don't really mean anything. Those that vote and count. He said the one that counts is that the person that decides everything. And now in our system, we know someone control the person who counts. That is where we have issues. That's why I want to agree with him that it's a one-party thing. Just from what Joseph Stanley has said. You know, he initially said, oppress the poor, make them poor, then dangle some little corn to the chicken, and then the chick keep following you. Now, if they are voting, I know I'm going my PVC is my, somebody said my AK-47. Now, that's a new one. I've never heard that before.
The PVC is the AK-47
now. Now you go and cast your vote. You go home. Somebody is going to count. In the collation center, who is there monitoring? Yes, we have security men who don't really, they are there and the vote buying issue allegation is everywhere. And we say, well, show me one, we'll take them to court. Who is going to arrest me? That we arrest the man who I saw? No, it's not going to happen that way. Now, at the end of the day, the man that is counting is being spoken to by who? By the powers that be. So if it's not going to work the other way, the favoring the one party, then something will happen. That's what was expected to happen when Jonathan was president. You know, even Abdul Salami Abubakar said, we were surprised. You know, why will you be that the president put a call through to, you know, the current president, Jonathan Goodluck called President Buhari, congratulations. See, we were surprised. How will a general be surprised? That should be the normal thing to do. So they were not expecting it to happen that way. That means it doesn't work that way. So I want to totally believe and subscribe to that position that is actually one party at the end of the day.
That's quite disturbing. He said only one party because it depends on those that count. Please expatiate on this theory.
Well, I think that there's a point he didn't make, and I just want to, you know, add it in a complementary form. It's just one party, not because of those that count. Those that count would count the normal thing and declare it. But our people, you know, are on a path. And you don't really want to always change every time, you know. You don't fix something that is not broken. There are challenges in our economy, there are challenges in our national life. But we realize that right now we are on a path of redemption. We are on a path, you know, to clear all these things. And it's not a one-day thing. There's nobody who is going to come and tell you, you know what, in 1 year, I'm taking this country from, you know, from point A to, you know, universal prosperity, and everybody just going to be happy, and there will be money, all the streets will be tarred with gold. So a lot of hard work. But in order to achieve prosperity, you've got to plug all these places and excesses and all that. And I think that everybody realizes that we are on that path now. We are on the path where, in a manner of speaking, corruption is not a very popular thing anymore. You know what I mean? People, nobody can actually beat his chest now and say, I'm a corrupt person in Nigeria today. There is some concern.
Absolutely.
There's some concern about it. There's some concern. Whether you were a general, because before now, no general had been probed.
That's correct.
No general had been probed. Whether you are a justice of the Supreme Court, because before now, judges who were sacrosanct, you know. Before now, former governors had their way. Before now, once you are a big person, you had your way. But that myth has been broken. That jinx has been broken. Now, we all know that there are no sacred cows. Whether you are a general in the army, right now as we are speaking, the former chief of, I think, air staff is facing trial. Facing trial. We would never heard of it. We never heard of it. So, whether you are a general, whether you are a major general, if you are corrupt, you know at the back of your mind that one day reckoning could come. If you are a judge, you know that one day reckoning could come, that somebody could be checking your bank accounts. So when you are collecting money, be careful. There was a chief judge of a state who invited a party before him, a lawyer handing a case before him, to come and launch a book.
Oh yes. Oh, yes.
And he got a lot of money from it. And he was later, it was traced, and he was probed for that. God bless his soul. I think it's a blessed memory now.
Yes.
So now I'm saying this not to knock anybody, and I hope nobody will take it, in the wrong way. But my point is that it's a good thing. It's a good thing that right now we know that there are no sacred cows. The AMCON recently released a list of 100 or so delinquent debtors. We've never had it like that. We've always believed that once you are, big, rich, powerful, you are untouchable. But now, even the institutions of government are coming out to bring the list of those that are owing them. And when your name is on that list, no other person wants to give you a loan. Both within and without. So that is an additional pressure on people to try to do the right thing, because you know that one day they will publish your name.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying that everybody realizes that this path we are on, we've got to have some faith in it. And that is where, at the end of the day, I believe that Nigerians will tilt towards that, and not some untested somebody who just built 1 or 2 eateries.
All right,
and
thank
said,
you.
"Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. Barrister, I know you're going to hold it now. Just hold it. Hold it. All right.
I'm not a spokesman for anybody.
You're not mentioning names, we know. We know, because you're following the rules governing the airwaves.
Yes.
Well, people are like saying that there are no sacred cows, but there seems to be sacred parties. Not mentioning name either.
Yes.
Take it up from there. Our time is almost up for this segment.
Well, it's. I have said that.
Say no sacred cows, but we have sacred parties. How true is that?
Well, that if you cross to a particular party, you become a saint.
It's just a question. No, he said no sacred cows, but we have
agree.
sacred parties.
Listen.
Yeah.
I want to. It's true that we may have issues with that. I remember what the Labour leader then, Adams Oshomole, said, that when fighting corruption years ago in Abuja, he was addressing Nigerians when fighting corruption. You complain in a particular party that you are being smuggled out and being dealt with. He said the searchlight, the man holding it is pointing it at his enemies, right? Now, sooner or later, when he leaves that lamp, the enemies pick up the lamp and point it back to their direction. So that is what he said. So wherever we start, we must appreciate the fact that we are doing something. I think that is the point of Benedion, which is formidable. I quite subscribe to that. But the angle we also look at, like you've raised, if it's like that, then we should also at least attempt to bring those ones with us now. Although somebody also said, no. If we do that, it will destabilize the government. So in words of Oshomole, if I'm not talking of Oshomole of today, before he was governor.
He remains the same person.
No, I'm trying to say, so that someone will not say, well, he said that because he was already part. He said that when he didn't even have the wings that he was going to become governor. Let's fight them. So he was a neutral person, just like me. I'm not there, neither here nor there. He just said, don't worry. Nigerians, don't worry. When they have finished fighting this party A, that party A will take that same searchlight and open them up. I think I subscribe to that. I subscribe to that. We should keep watching and keep our records. If this party is out of office, someday, sometime, you're going to be picked too. If I've been attacked now, like I have said here the other time we were here, they said, oh, Ayode Falushe as governor being, I said, there's nothing wrong with being prosecuted. My own is, he shouldn't be one special person. He talked about an army general who is being prosecuted. We don't know about it. Why do we make so much noise? Because it's not classroom, it's not the media house. If he goes to jail, it's his business. If you have done something wrong, you go in for it. So you don't hide under the guise of politics that we didn't do anything, they are victimizing us. If you are a criminal, you will be smuggled out and you will go to prison. I support them going to prison. Whoever had erred, has defrauded the system, should go to prison. Right. Whether you're in party A or party B. If we start with B and leave A, no problem. We'll come back and check A tomorrow. I think that is how it should go.
All right. Okay. Gentlemen, we know we have other persons coming to really throw more light on this. I really appreciate your wonderful analysis. I'm going to give you 30 seconds each to summarize. I want to start off with you, Barrister Dele Benito. Then Barrister Patrick Awosage will take it up from there. 30 seconds each. Go ahead.
Well, I think if we might quote Sir Francis Bacon, he said he's been content to tune the instrument of the muse that they may play who have better hands. That he's been content to tune the instrument of the muse so that let those who have better hands play. We've tuned the instrument, let those who have better hands at politics, let them play.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Dele Benito. Barrister Patrick Awosage.
Thank you, Winston. Our people should still be hopeful and be vigilant. You know, you don't just expect change when you are not part of it. You meet some grown-ups, they'll tell you, we are not interested, let whoever, no, don't do that. Try to read, try to be, you know, follow the system, know what's happening, and then make your own decisions and choice.
Thank you.
I think that will help us in the long run.
All right, you've heard them. You've heard them. It's all about 2019 state of the nation political situation. When I come in again with the other discussants, we're going to take it a little bit further. We may go deeper into parties. We may go deeper into security situation. We may even go deeper into the threat by labor. If you don't do what we want, don't expect our vote. Is that a threat? Is that I'm twisting? Is that sabotage? Is it going to affect the outcome of 2019 election? All these and more we'll take a look at when we return after this break. Do stay tuned.